Hello everyone, this is Monica from Needle and Paper. Today in this video I wanted to show you how I color this beautiful sunflower in no-line watercolor technique. This is a stamp set from Studio Katia. It's called Sunshine of Hope. Besides this lovely sunflower, it features really nice messages, sentiments. They are all very beautiful, uplifting, and the font is really nice. I chose this particular cardstock because it works really well with the watercolor markers that I decided to use. And here are some inks that work really well when you are using this no line watercoloring technique. It really is just a matter of personal preference. You'll see me using the antique linen from Distress. The Distress inks is one that I use quite often, as well as the Gina K. I decided to use my stamping platform. This is really a very useful tool because it allows you to stamp over and over the same spot in case that you miss some of the details. But if you do miss details, when it comes to this particular technique, number one, you can always use the stamp, the picture of the stamp as a reference. And second, this technique is very forgiving. So you will be blending a lot, and if few details are missed, it won't be that big of a deal. Once I was happy with my image, I set it aside and I started to pull out some colors, some markers. You'll see that I'm showing a lot of markers. These particular Kuretake markers, they have a real brush, a real tip, so not like a felt tip, but a real tip, and it's very useful, especially when doing details. I didn't use all of these colors. Also, you're going to need a water brush or your regular watercolor brush, it doesn't matter. Then I'm ready to start coloring. And what I'm doing here is to basically create a base layer. What you see right there on the left hand side, that white mat, that's a stamping mat. It's like a rubber mat. And I inked on it some of that antique linen ink directly from the pad to the stamping mat, and I added water. And I just grabbed some of the ink from that stamping mat and mix it with the lines, basically, of the stamped image on the cardstock, so to create sort of like a base layer in all the petals. I am adding the ink somewhat carefully, but not super detailed. At this point, it's not about detail. It really is about adding a little bit of base layer, and you can skip this step if you want. This is completely optional. I just wanted to have something under, and because I had never colored a sunflower before, so I really wasn't sure which direction I should go in terms of colors. And like I said, I didn't use all the colors that I had originally selected. I just selected a whole bunch of yellows and orange and some neutrals. And but I ended up using, I guess, just 4. I am removing some of the excess of the water, and here I'm starting with the actual first color. Again, I'm not being super detailed, but I am doing as much as I could every other petal on this shade. And as you see, I'm adding color only on the bottom, at the bottom of the petal, and on one border. And it really doesn't matter which border you use or you choose. I chose the left one. I think that's because I'm right-handed and that's the most comfortable for me. But and I'm not, again, not being super detailed, and I'm doing all this first round at once. So I'm doing every other petal on this color, on this 051, and I'm not blending in between. After I finish this round of these petals with this color, you're gonna see me grabbing my water brush and then blending in the color from the borders of each petal to the inside. After I finish all these first row of petals on this color, I'm gonna grab my water brush and blend the color in from the outside, from the borders of each petal to the rest of the petal. Again, obviously not trying to go over the lines, but also not being super detailed. And once I finish both of the colors that I'm going to use for this row, and blend them, I am going to speed up the video. I noticed that this video had a lot of movement. I turned my work around quite a bit, and it was making me a bit dizzy when I was watching it, so I thought I needed to edit quite a bit. But it wasn't really my intention to make such a long video. And here is when I start to use my water brush and bring the color in from the outside. I pick it up from the outside borders of the petal, the color, the areas that are more saturated, and then bring them inside, so to the rest of the petal that doesn't have color. And it's not a solid block. There are still areas that have more color than others of each petal. So I decided I wanted to do it like this. I wanted to do it this detailed, but you definitely don't have to be this meticulous with this particular set or this particular stamp. So I continue blending, and you're gonna see me reaching for another color, and that will be, see, I turn my work around constantly, so I have access to the other areas without necessarily touching or putting my hand on the image. Once I finish this entire basically first row of petals in two different colors, you're going to see me reaching another color, a lighter yellow. I'm going to speed up the video. This is a close-up look of how it looks. So here it is. This is the 051. This is the more like a lemony yellow. And this is to create some contrast. And here it is, the video a little bit speeded up, so you don't watch me coloring like for 2 hours. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attempt to add some music. I have had a warning from YouTube before about copyrights, and I don't know why that's happening, because I only use music for which I have paid. If you know how to avoid that, please let me know. But again, it will be to avoid this, the rest of the video to be so tedious, and just to make it a little bit more relaxing for you to watch. I hope you enjoy it. process and the music. And I'm here adding a few final touches with color pencils. I'm also going to add some white gouache diluted with water, and I'm just going to splatter it freely with a brush, as you can see here, not being very careful, but I really like this look. I think it looks more natural, more organic this way. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something today. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time on my next video. This is Monica for Needle and Paper. Bye.